Are you confused between Looker and Looker Studio? Both are Google products. Both are used for analytics, but they were not same. So in this video, I will clearly explain what is Looker, what is Looker Studio, what is the key differences between them, and when to use which tool. Okay, in the real world scenario, which tool we are going to use. Okay, by the end of this video, you will understand exactly so which tool which is fit for your businesses. Okay, so here is the Looker and Looker Studio comparison. So here we are going to discuss about the differences. So this is the agenda. So what is Looker and what is the Looker Studio? What is the key differences between the architecture? So we are going to compare the both the the tools, what are the use cases and which one to use for the which scenario. Okay, so I will go for the first one is Looker. So basically the Looker is a enterprise BA platform which is built on top of the LookML model. So basically LookML is the semantic layer, so which is built on top of the Looker. Okay, so a powerful semantic and modeling layer. So it's a the LookML, it's a semantic and modeling layer. Okay, and so instead of creating the calculation inside the dashboards, so if you want to create some kind of calculations within the dashboards, right? So that we are going to create. So instead of creating the calculation within the reports or dashboard level, so Looker allows you to define some business logic centrally using the LookML. So basically, the LookML is a modeling language which is allowed to create the logic, business logic calculations, everything in centrally. So the key points into the Looker is it's an enterprise BI tool. So it uses the the LookML for data modeling. So that is a semantic layer purpose and very strong governance. So if you want to provide access, right, it's very restricted. A lot of restrictions are available. So it's a very strong and data also very consistently. So data is very consistent, works directly on the cloud databases. So if you are going to connect with any cloud databases, it's going to be connected straight away without any issues. Okay, with Looker metrics like revenue, profit, or customer count, it's a defined ones. So once you create, the measures, right, which is you can use, any dashboards or explores, alerts, embedded analytics. We can use a lot of teams. So basically, it's best for large organizations, very, very large organizations. So the team is very large. And if you want to, the data should be in a centralized data times, the data will be in a centralized, they can use multiple teams and it will be the government analytics. Okay, for embedded MBA platform. So if you want to embed your dashboards or reports to the third party application, so this is a very fit for the Looker. So it's very highly scalable, governed, centralized business logic. Whereas coming to the Looker Studio, it's a completely free tool. Okay, so it's a self-service data aggregation tool that allows you to quickly build dashboards using drag and drop. So you no need to write any code and all. You just need to drag and drop the fields once you connect to the back end, either database connection or or flat files. You just need to drag and drop. What are the fields is required to create the report? You just need to drag and drop. So no code is required. Absolutely, it's no code is required, and moreover, it's completely free of cost. So anyone can go and it's a completely web based. This is also okay, and this is for the ideal for the quick learners, easy for sharing and collaboration. So if you want to create a very easy method very quickly ad hoc basis. So Looker Studio is the best for. So it connects easily to the basically the Google products like Google Sheets, BigQuery, GA4, Google Ads, and many third-party connections also it will connect. So best for marketing teams and small and medium businesses. Okay, so very quick reporting, especially useful for freelancers and consultants. So especially freelancers, right? They can go ahead and they can use it as it's a free of cost. Okay. So, so here is the key differences and the architecture wise. Okay. So if you can see here, the architecture wise, you can see the Looker uses the semantic layer. So basically, It will create the semantic layer based on the LookML model. And if you create the metrics, if you create some kind of calculation, you can use any report or any dashboard. Whereas the Looker Studio, the calculations are it's a report level. So if you are creating two reports, each report has their own specific calculation. So once you use it in report level, we can't use it in other report. Okay. But whereas in Looker, if you create once, you can use in multiple places. Even if you create, the project also, right? We can use in multiple projects. We can straight away can import the code and we can use. So the logic is duplicated across reports. So the same logic in Looker Studio, if you implement the same logic. So here is the key comparison between the Looker and Looker Studio. So the tool wise, the Looker is enterprise BA tool, whereas coming to the Looker Studio is reporting and visualization tool. Okay, so the cost wise, the Looker is completely paid version, so even you can't get the free trial also. So the Looker Studio is absolutely free, so everything is based. You can go ahead and you can use. So the modeling is currently in the Looker they were using as a LookML model. So everything, if you want to create calculations, the semantic layer, dimensions, everything we can create in the LookML model one. So it's a completely centralized one. Okay. So the other teams also they can use from the centralized the calculations. So we can reuse for every report. So coming to the Looker Studio, if you create the calculations, right? So that is a completely report based. Even though if we are using the single model, so it's a report to report wise. You need to create your whole calculations every time. So that is a completely we need to rebuild the same calculations again and again. There is a possibility for the duplication as well. Coming to the governance, Looker is very strong in the governance. So the other people they can't see the data and they can't see the what is there without their the based on the permission they can't access. So in the Looker Studio, it's a very limited governance. So there's a loss of data as well. The scalability is very high in the Looker. The scalability is very low in very medium to low in the Looker Studio. So the thing is, if you create the calculation, we can reuse in the Looker, but in the Looker Studio we can't use. Okay. So the real time the queries is Looker. It's a very quick and fast. So whenever the data is refreshed, so you can see that the same changes in dashboard. In the Looker Studio, it's a very limited. So there is a possibility we need to refresh the data. So basically, the Looker is best for data engineers and BI teams, and Looker Studio is best for analysts and marketings. In simple terms, so Looker focuses on the data modeling and governance. Looker Studio focuses on the visual storytelling and speed. So use Looker when. So when you are going to use the Looker is so if you are a enterprise level reporting, you are looking for the central reporting purpose. The LookML model should be in the centralized one, and Looker calculations are written in LookML and reused everywhere. In Looker Studio, calculations are created in the calculator field, which can be lead to inconsistent, not managed carefully. Okay. So that is the reason we will use the Looker for the mostly in uh, the centralized the centralized LookML, what we are creating the semantic layer, right? In that purpose, we will use, and which will be used for large teams. And if you are going to embed it your dashboards reports to the some other portals, in that scenario, we will go for the Looker. The Looker Studio, which will use for we need to create a quick dashboards, and it's a marketing, sales and reporting teams, they want to do a very quick analysis, right, in that scenario. And client facing reports, you don't have any much budget, you have very limited budget. In that scenario, we are not going to pay for the tools, right? In that scenario, we will go for the Looker Studio. So many organizations use both together. So Looker for modeling and Looker Studio for presentation. Okay. So which tool is used to learn? So for BA engineers, Looker is the best option to learn. Okay, so for data list, they can do the just a isolation, right? They will go for the Looker Studio. For freelancers, Data Studio is the best option because they can't buy the Looker version, so it's very too costly. So coming to the enterprise BA, if you are very large companies, right, they will develop the enterprise BA tool. So in that scenario, they will go for the Looker. And finally, the conclusion is. So Looker is a very governance, and the centralized, the modeling part. In that scenario, we will go for the Looker, and the Looker you for the fast visualization reporting. So if everything model is ready, on top of that, if you are going to create some presentations, visualizations, in that scenario, we will go for the Studio.